If you're thinking about going solar, if your tiny house, off-grid cabin, and van, or even just as a backup system for your home, you probably asked for the most common question in the world of solar. How much solar do I actually need? And here's the honest truth, okay? Most people either wildly underestimate it or they massively overspend because they're guessing instead of calculating. And I've done both, okay? I've had a system that couldn't keep up, and I've also bought panels I didn't truly need. So in this video, I'm going to break this down in a simple, realistic way so you can figure it out and what you need, without wasting your money. The biggest mistake people make is starting with panels instead of starting with power usage. Okay. Solar is not about how many panels look good on your roof. It's about how much electricity you actually consume in a day. If you don't know that number, everything else is just a shot in the dark, okay? So step 1 is brutally simple, okay? Figure out how many watt hours you use per day. No, not watts, watt hours. That's total energy you consume over time. So let's make this real, okay? Every appliance has watt rating. A mini fridge uses 60 to 100 watts while running. A laptop charger, it might use 60 watts. A phone charger, it might use 10 to 20 watts. A small microwave, it might use 1,000 watts, but only for a few minutes. The trick is multiplying watts by hours used. For example, if your fridge averages 80 watts and runs through roughly 8 hours total throughout the day, that's 640 watt hours. If you use a 60-watt laptop for 4 hours, that's 240 watts. Add the lights, maybe 10 watts each for LED bulbs, and let's say 5 bulbs for 5 hours. That's 250 watts hours, and suddenly you're at 1130 watt hours, and we haven't even talked about water pumps or fans and Starlink heaters or cooking. And this is why people get surprised. It adds up very fast. A realistic tiny house using electricity carefully might land somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 watt hours per day. And that's 2 to 4 kilowatt hours. If you're off grid and using electric heat, induction cooking, or air conditioning, that number can double or even triple. So once you know your daily usage, we now talk about panels. The solar panels are rated in watts, okay? But that's peak output in perfect laboratory conditions. You will not get perfect output. If you buy a 400-watt panel, you're not getting 400 watts all day. You're getting 400 watts from maybe a few peak sun hours. And the average location in the US gets about 4 to 6 peak sun hours per day. And that means 400-watt panels might realistically produce around 1,600 to 2,400 watt hours per day, depending on your location and weather. And that's not your ideal placement and no shade. So if your tiny house uses 3,000 watt hours per day and each 400 watt panel realistically gives you about, 1,800 watt hours daily in average conditions, you need at least 2 panels, and that's cutting it close, and cutting it close is stressful. And here's the golden rule: oversize your solar by at least 20 to 30%. Clouds happen, winter happens, dust happens. One shaded corner can wreck output. So if you use 3,000 watt hours daily, I'd personally design it for at least 4,000. And that might mean 400 watt panels instead of 2. And now let's talk batteries because panels without storage are just decoration once the sun goes down. Your battery bank needs to store at least 1 full day's of usage, ideally and more if possible. If you use, 3,000 watt hours per day, you want at least 3 kilowatts of a usable storage. But here's the catch: most batteries aren't 100% usable. If you're using lithium batteries, you can expect to use 80 to 90% of their capacity. So a 5 kilowatt hour lithium battery might safely give you 4 to 4.5 usable kilowatt hours. If you're using lead acid, you really should only be using about 50% to preserve the battery life. That means a 4 kilowatt hour lead acid bank only gives you 2 kilowatt hour usable. Big difference. And this is where people waste money. They buy enough panels but cheap out on the batteries. Then wonder why their system dies at 9 p.m. Let's break this down into scenarios, okay? If you're ultra minimal, okay, laptop, phone, LED lights, maybe a small fridge, you might get away with 1,500 to 2,000 watt hour per day. In that case, 800 to 1,200 watts of solar panels and 3 to 5 kilowatt hours of lithium storage would probably feel comfortable. If you're running a normal tiny house, a fridge, a water pump, fans, TV, internet, like Starlink, okay, occasional microwave, you're likely in the 3 to 4,000 watt hour range. That's where 1,200 to 1,800 watts of panels and 5 to 10 kilowatt hours of lithium storage starts making sense. If you're running electric heating, air conditioning, or electric cooking regularly off grid, I'm going to be blunt with you. Solar gets expensive fast. Yeah, heating and cooling are energy monsters. You might need 2,500 plus watts of panels and 15 kilowatt hours or more of battery storage. At that point, many people either add a generator backup or switch over to propane for heating and cook and the cooking. Now, here's something nobody talks about enough, though: seasonality. In winter, your solar production can drop 30 to 60% depending on where you live. Shorter days, lower sun angle, cloud cover. If your system barely works in the summer, it will absolutely fail in the winter. That's why I always recommend designing your system around your worst month, not your best. It's easy to look like a solar genius in July. January is the real test. Another mistake people make is ignoring phantom loads. Inverters consume power just by being on. Some systems draw 30 to 50 watts continuously over 24 hours. That's 720 to 1,200 watt hours just to exist. And that's nearly half of a minimalist system gone. You also need to think about surge power. A fridge might run at 100 watts, but surge to 600 when the compressor kicks on. Your inverter needs to handle those spikes or everything will shut off. And then, there's lifestyle creeps too. When you first go tiny or off grid, you're conservative, okay? 6 months later, you're blending smoothies and running extra monitors. Plan for you'll be in a year, not just for you are today. Okay. And let's talk about roof space. A 400 watt panel is roughly, 6.5 feet by 3.5 feet, if I remember right. And three or four of those take up serious real estate on your roof. If you're building a tiny house on wheels, roof space can be limited. You may physically not be able to fit the perfect system up there. And that's when ground mounted panels start looking attractive. And cost is another factor. As of recent pricing, a 400 watt panel might cost a few $100s, but panels are not expensive part. The batteries are. A good 5 kilowatt hour lithium battery can cost several $1,000s, and that's where most of our budgets goes. So if you're budgeting for solar, don't think in terms of panels. Think in terms of full system costs: panels, batteries, inverters, charge controllers, wiring, and mounting hardware, breakers, and backup generators if needed. And here's the best part that might surprise you. Sometimes using less power is cheaper than buying more solar. Switching to propane for cooking and hot water can slash your electrical demand. Using a DC fridge instead of a residential fridge can cut usage dramatically. Install better insulation too. It reduces the heating and cooling load. Energy efficiency is often cheaper than adding panels. If you're grid tied instead of off grid, the equation changes. You don't need batteries unless you want the backup. You can size your solar to offset your annual usage instead of your daily storage needs. In that case, your local, net metering policies matter a lot, and some utilities credit you generously for excess power. Others don't. But off grid, it's all on you. So how much solar do you really need? You need enough to cover your daily watt hour usage, plus a buffer, plus enough battery storage to survive at least one cloudy day. And for most realistic tiny house setups, that lands somewhere between 1,200 to 2,000 watts of panels and 5 to 10 kilowatt hours of lithium storage. Less if you're extremely minimal, and more if you want comfort. The biggest shift in thinking in this: solar isn't about powering everything you want. It's about designing your life around what's realistic. And when you size your system intentionally instead of emotionally, you stop chasing power and you start managing it. Before buying a single panel, do this, okay? List every appliance, write down its wattage, multiply it by hours used per day, add everything up, then add 25%. that number is your real starting point because, solar done right feels freeing. Solar done wrong feels like camping forever. And if you've ever watched your battery percentage drop faster than you expected while the sun is already setting, you know exactly what I mean. Design smart, oversize a little, and use less than when you can, and build a system that matches your actual life, not the Instagram version of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you stay tiny. Like and subscribe if you like what you heard. And check out this video to the right up here if you would too, and help you on your tiny house journey, off-grid journey too as well. If you like really what you heard and you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee. Why not? It keeps me out of the comments section and keeps me up and recording. Thank you. Have a good day, and we'll see you on the next one.